Hi, have you ever thought about making your own herbal tonic to balance the hormones? It's really not that hard, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful balancing tea, or maybe we could call it a tonic. It's a hormone balancing one. It's one I make so often because it's really good at settling crazy lady hormones. Have a little think about that. We're going to start by putting in a little chamomile tea. Now, chamomile is one everybody has in their pantry, and even if you just have a tea bag or two that you want to open up and empty into a little bowl, you can play with that. So we're just going to use about a half a teaspoon of chamomile. Chamomile is really soothing on the digestive system and has a really calming effect on your nerves as well. Also into that, I'm putting about the same amount of mint. Now this is ordinary old garden mint that we grew just over there actually. I have so much mint that I have to dry it out or it's going to take over our garden. And it's really easy to dry it. You can do it in a dehydrator. You can do it just hanging it in a warm spot and dries out very, very quickly. You don't have to use ordinary mint. You could have peppermint in this. You could have spearmint. Lemon balm is also another one that works really well. The next element to go into our herbal blend is tulsi. Now, tulsi is an Ayurvedic herb, and in Ayurveda, it's known as the queen of herbs because it just has so many health benefits. It supports adrenal fatigue, and this is one amazing reason to have it in there. Now, I found it really hard to find tulsi without other elements added to it. It seemed always to be in blended form in health food stores. So I grew my own and dehydrated it. It's holy basil. So you know that basil that you have on Thai dishes that's a little more fragrant than the traditional European basil. That's tulsi. So if you find it in your nursery and you want to grow some, it's really easy to grow, and then you've got it just as it is. Clary sage is our next element. We grew this in the garden. It was super, super hard to find. So once I did find the plant, put it in the garden, I saved the seeds. Clary sage is another one to soothe the nervous system, and I love it. Just a little bit of this one. When it's growing, this is what it looks like. Beautiful big green heart-shaped leaves, and it has the most beautiful purple flowers when it goes into bloom. So it's actually nice just as an ornamental. Rose. Now this is gorgeous. Such a beautiful fragrance. I love rose in tea. It's such a lovely uplifting aroma to add into the mix. Rose also supports the skin and the immune system, so it's a win-win. I'm just going to put a little pinch of that in there. If you're growing your own roses and you want to just dry out your petals, go ahead and do that. I often have a lot of rose petals to spare, so I do that. But you can also just buy rose petals at your health food shop if you can't grow them yourself. Last but not least, lavender. Now lavender, tiny, tiny little bit of this because a little goes a long way. It supports fatigue and has a really beautiful calming quality to it. So it's lovely to add into this blend, and don't go too heavy on it because it will overpower. So there we are, all of our bits and pieces in there. And of course you can tweak all of these elements to suit how you want to make your herbal tonic and what flavors you like best. I think the essential thing though is that we have equal amounts of the mint and the chamomile, so we get that yin and yang balance going on. And then I'm just going to add my boiling water to this. These little teapots with the inbuilt strainer are just wonderful. Now, we want to let that steep for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how cool you like your tea. And obviously, the longer you leave it, the more of those beautiful aromas and flavors come out in your tonic. So when you're ready to serve your tea, you might like to put a little honey in it to serve. This is Hilltop Hives honey from our friend Peter. He helps us with our hives. Really important when you're using honey to get a good quality one. Try and support your local beekeepers because they do an amazing job of keeping bee populations healthy and thriving. So many commercial honeys are just essentially sugar syrup, no benefit at all to your system, so why bother? Get a nice local honey. Now, I am going to have a little bit of this honey because I love it. So our pot of tea has been brewing for about 3 minutes now. It's going to be a perfect temperature to drink. And this is my favorite little cup that Deb bought me in Bali, and I love to have cups of tea and think of Debbie. I miss her terribly. Now, I've gone to a lot of trouble to prepare this brew little by little today. It doesn't have to be that difficult at all. This was all about making things simple. So you can put the quantities in a canister and just keep it. And if you want to add extra little elements, extra rows or whatever to it, just tweak it. Make it be the tea you want it to be. I'm going to find 5 minutes now to sit quietly and enjoy our brew, and it just smells delicious. I hope you take a moment to look after yourself and sit down with a nice quiet cup of tea too. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and please share this with your friends as well. And I hope everybody has a beautiful, calm and scented day. See you next time.